Howdy, my dudes. Random Fight Fan here. We got Mr. Rib here with his build. The Mr. Rib is back. But let's do this one quick and dirty. He's saying that he's got good clear but struggles with single target, so obviously we'll start with the gear. Fantastic spear for an Amazon because you're making use of the accuracy. Huge extra physical damage here. You don't have the increased attack speed or crit chance on it, unfortunately, but as it is, this is fantastic. You even have Leech's physical damage as life, so if you wanted to, you could even make note or make use of Mystic Harvest because looking at your skills here, you got Stormlance as your main damaging skill with Lightning Spear, then you got Infused Weapon going on. You're doing almost entirely elemental damage. So if you want to give yourself a whole bunch of extra survivability, you could give yourself Mystic Harvest. But continuing on right here, we got huge extra physical damage attacks with accuracy rating. And then good suffixes. That's probably a double rarity, which makes sense. This one here, probably another double rarity because huge physical and huge accuracy rating. One thing I'm noting with all this accuracy rating, unfortunately, you don't really need attack speed when it comes to Storm Lance or Lightning Spear because they have kind of baked in cooldowns with them with how you're supposed to use them. You don't have Primal Strikes, unfortunately. Primal Strikes would help a lot. One thing you should probably look into potentially is swapping over to a whirling slash and twisters build because that really makes use of all this accuracy rating for attack speed. Now coming here for your amulet, it's a pretty nice amulet. You're not using the one that gives ignores elemental resistances on crit because you're coming down here for a bunch of pen here. Looks like you got some weapon swap stuff, which doesn't really make sense because you don't have any weapon swaps, but looks like you're trying to make use of the pen. I'm not too sure how your setup is working this way because this is weapon swap 2 and you don't have it too, unless, I don't know. Either way, this is a little bit odd. I would say try to venture away from there. You're taking advantage of a really good Sacred Flame. +3 level of all projectiles. So yeah, with your setup here, I think it would mesh better with a Twister build for sure. That you kind of built for that, but then are using Stormlance. Stormlance does not need as much baked-in accuracy rating afterwards because you have to wait for the explosions. As it is, this helmet is pretty decent with the rarity. Again, this is basically a mapping setup with how much rarity you have. I assume you got more rarity elsewhere. No? Okay. Just helmet and rings and was it amulet? Yeah, and amulet as well. So yeah, you got some pretty good magic find for mapping, but as it stands, all this extra stuff here is really going to benefit going towards a Twister setup because that is the best for just straight mapping. Yours is a little bit more all-rounder for bossing with the Stormlance. With that said, Twisters is fine for bossing as well. I feel like that would be your first swap. Your helmet here is actually pretty decent. It's a decent size energy shield pool. You can get stuff with even more energy shield. I assume you're making... no, you're not making use of Subterfuge Mask, so you don't need to worry about it too much, but you have the Slip Strike Vest. Again, you have defensives on weapon swaps. It's weird. I'm not too sure what you're going on with there. You got a decent set of gloves. You're going all in the physical and lightning damage, which makes sense. That's all you're doing. So all you need is physical and lightning pen to take advantage of all that. Getting flat lightning rolls will actually give you more damage than flat physical because they just roll higher. But I get what you're doing. It's not a problem. It's not optimal. You corrupted this because you're a madman, and unfortunately you got increased stun build up, but it's still really nice. You got a positive corrupt on a really good spear. Nothing to wiggle your nose at. Same thing with these gloves. It'd be nicer if you could get a little more damage out of it, but they're still pretty fantastic. And they're not top tier, but they'll do the job. This belt is pretty solid because you got double res, big life, 3 charm slots. It's nice that way. I feel like if you're going to go all this rarity and not have a triple res belt, you might as well get an Ingenuity and pump a little bit more damage out, give you more accuracy rating, give you more rarity, and just focus on your resistances that way. If you're not able to get resistance caps without those, honestly, it'd probably be this ring that needs a swap, but that gain mana per enemy killed is going to be just so lovely for you, because now that gives you mana on kill and life leech, so it's going to be hard to get rid of it. Another thing that I would suggest trying to slot in here, because you got all that attack speed, if you don't want twisters and whirling slash, even though it would probably mesh with your playstyle extremely well, you're going to want to put in primal strikes for sure. But going on to these boots, you got big movement speed boots, life, everything. These are solid boots. Honestly, these are 10 out of 10 boots. It's unfortunate that they're pure evasion base, because you seem to be mostly using energy shield based on what I'm seeing. Or sorry, that was the other person I was looking at. Never mind. This is pretty solid for your setup. Yeah, no problem there. Got a silver charm. There's another charm that gives you onslaught when you get slowed, which could be really nice for you. I don't know how expensive it is, but it's another silver charm. It's the unique one. You got the thawing charm and the rarity charm. Everything's fine there. Are you using ambrosia anywhere? Let's see. Ambrosia just completely nukes your mana flask with lightning spear and stormlance anyways. It'd be kind of difficult to use it. Let's see if you're... Okay, good. You're not using it there. I don't think you're using it, so you don't need the improved mana flask, so that's absolutely fine. And now coming through with your From Nothing Diamond, Mind Over Matter is actually fantastic. This isn't the skill tree. This here is on max roll, obviously, so it gives a little bit less access to some things. But anyways, around Mind Over Matter is fantastic, because you can get these 3 ridiculously good nodes. Yeah, I fully support doing that, especially since you're doing an elemental damage build. Love it. It's really, really good. The other thing with the Twisters thing is obviously you'd be doing less lightning damage, but you'd be taking advantage of all the massive amounts of physical damage you're scaling to work with this physical damage as life leech. Yeah, I think it'd help you out more than anything. Now this jewel here is really fantastic. You got the mana on kill, crit damage, and energy shield. Really no issue with it at all, except for that your energy shield is obviously pretty low. You might get better benefit if you were to swap out this chest piece with something with better energy shield, but honestly it's a fantastic chest piece. You're not going to want to get rid of it for really anything, except for like a Hariz obviously might do more work for you if you have the evasion for it. I keep clicking on the wrong thing, but as it stands, I'm not too sure exactly how your tree set up. This here is a little bit funky and weird and it's hard to read, but yeah, just if you have any opinion on how much energy shield you have, because I'm guessing it's not the most. You're just getting it from Spectral Ward and this helmet. So I would be willing to bet that you're probably around 2k energy shield, so I bet your defensives aren't the best. But as it stands, it is set up nicely. It makes good sense. I don't really fault your logic for it, but I just feel like there could be slightly better ways to put it together. Yeah, I guess I just wish I could see it in POB to see exactly what your other stats were like. It's just not showing me, so I can't get the best answer for you. Now your Megalomaniac, I really like this Megalomaniac. It's fantastic. Harmonic Generator is one of the best passive skills you can get. It's just really hard to path to because it's super out of the way. I love that you got on Megalomaniac. This is beautiful. It's huge damage with that 40% magnitude of shock. That's 8% more damage and 25% crit chance. Heavy Blade unfortunately does nothing, but Sharpened Claws is 25% increased attack damage. Wonderful. And then finally you got Prism of Belief, because you're wanting to go all in on Stormlance for your damage. It's probably quite a bit of damage, but you're saying that you're kind of struggling on bossing, so this may not be doing the most for you other than pumping up your mana costs. And since your mana leech is, there we go, on kill, from the 27 mana per enemy killed and 2% mana on kill, you should have 0 mana issues even with just this one jewel while mapping. But with this one here, you might feel like you have infinite, but it's doing literally nothing for bossing, and this is pumping up your mana cost with bossing. I assume based on how much attack speed you're doing, you're not letting your Stormlance explode. I feel like that would be one way to definitely tone it down. Obviously, no video to go off of, but that is my thought process with what I see on your gear. Now for your skills, we'll just kind of skip over spear stab. Like you got rage, you can put martial tempo, nothing else really matters. Combat frenzy, you got your perfusion, great. Herald of Thunder, here we go. You're using the neural overload electrocute, makes perfect sense. You got innervate in there, which doesn't make as much sense. You should put innervate on lightning spear specifically because something needs to survive your lightning spear for Herald of Thunder to get the innervates off. Unless your lightning spear isn't one-shotting everything, then yeah, you can keep it. I just expect your lightning spear to one-shot things. If you do that, then you could potentially drop the electrocute and make Herald Thunder freeze, and then you get advantage of Ice Bite. But as it stands, it's not a big deal. Putting Reach on there is fantastic because it's never going to miss, so it's just 35% more area of effect. I really like Long Shot, and the electrocute tech is great. It's just my one thought. My first big issue here is your Orb of Storms, because you got Conduction. You don't care if it has more chance to shock. Orb of Storms isn't doing enough damage for you to shock. Orb of Storms has one real thing that it's doing, and it's proccing Moment of Truth and Existing. Those are the, I guess, 1 and 2 things it should do. And when it's existing, like you have Font of Mana, but where's your Font of Rage? So first things first is drop Conduction, put in Font of Rage. You got exposure to exposure applied by supports because of increased effect, and you got lightning exposure on it, except for that lightning exposure is never going to proc because your Orb of Storms isn't the thing that's going to shock ever. You don't have enough you don't have enough spell damage for it to actually do anything. So you should probably just straight up drop lightning exposure and strip away from it, put on, and Conduction, put on Font of Rage, and maybe even like Overabundance so you can put 2 down so you can stagger them. So that way it has a little bit better uptime when you're using it. Well, actually no, Overabundance reduces the duration, so anything to increase the duration would be helpful. Another thing is you got Conduction here, but you also got Cast. You're doing the double mark, so I assume you're on Controller, otherwise Voltaic Mark does literally nothing. But anyways, we'll go back to Conduction here. I really like how you have it set up with your Heightened Curse, Ritualistic Curse, and especially Cursed Ground. That means you can just drop it, and whatever's on it lasts, and it's great. You got the increased duration, increased area of effect. Your Conductivity aura is fantastic. I really like this a lot. You got this one set up right. Your Lightning Spear, you got Bullseye for more accuracy rating, which all it's really doing is increasing your attack speed, which you don't need on Lightning Spear. You got Volt, which is completely counterproductive with Bullseye. You're literally just fighting yourself with that. Primal Armament is good. Fork is good. Pinpoint Critical, I don't think you need this at all. It's just axing your critical damage, giving you a whole bunch more crit chance for sure, but at a huge damage detriment. I feel like you should really drop Pinpoint Critical and put like really anything else in. Since you have all lightning damage, even Lightning Infusion would be fantastic on your Lightning Spear. Now for your Stormlance, you got Inevitable Critical. Why? You should be really close to crit cap with this spear and all your accuracy. I feel like this here is a very poor choice because it's only going to hit 1 time a crit and then not have it for the entire rest of all the little bolts around it and every other throw after it. Inevitable Critical is completely useless here. Super Critical, that one's better, kind of, except for if you have crit cap, you just cut off 20% crit chance, and for only 100% increased, not more crit damage, but increased. Super Critical is not the best for it. You should try to fit in Primal and then do the melee boost range thing for this guy and range boost melee for Primal. It will help you out a lot. Now you got Overextend, that's really good. Lightning Infusion, really good. Scattershot, essential. Yeah. Those are definitely big ones. You got Ghost Dance with Fast Forward, perfect. Cast on Critical with your Voltaic Mark before Sniper's Mark, that is correct. That means it will cast them both on your first cast, and then your next hit should consume Sniper's Mark, and then cast Voltaic again, and then give you the shock magnitude. This works. If it's working in mapping, great. The only way this actually works in mapping, though, is if you're using a controller. So this might be only a only a bossing skill for you. If that's the case, then it's not the best setup, but oh well. I like inspiration on here, but impetus and energy retention you really won't need because you're going to get so many casts of cast on critical with your big crit chance. Well, it's only 10 base on your sea glass spear, but then you got all the extra from all your accuracy rating and from your tree and everything. You really don't need impetus or energy retention. You've got enough casts of it, even more so than enough casts. What you should do is actually put overabundance here, not on your Orb of Storms, because you don't care about duration on any of these. Then allows you to have 2 marks out instead of 1, and then that way won't immediately erase one of them. If you have multiple targets, that is. And yeah, then you could put pretty much anything else for another support skill that works with the marks. But as it stands, both energy retention and impetus are kind of useless. Your infused weapon, you have overcharge and commiserate. These are great because overcharge allows the shocks to go off. Commiserate makes it so you don't get shocked. And then you have elemental focus to make these do literally nothing for you. You don't care about damage on infused weapon, and you just got rid of all the utility from an infused weapon by putting on elemental focus. Literally dropping this will massively increase your damage, even if you don't put on any other support. You got Culling Strike and Blindside. Okay, they're both decent. You could do that. You could also put on just straight blind to make it a little bit better with infusing stuff. You could pump it with a whole bunch of things. You could add any sorts of utility on there. Straight up just drop elemental focus. You broke your infused weapon by putting on elemental focus. It kind of seemed like... honestly, you should, because you're going with the pen route, put the shock magnitude on infused weapon, chance to shock, like from your Orb of Storms, put conduction onto your infused weapon, and also your blind and lightning exposure. That will help out a lot. Drop out everything else. It doesn't really matter. You can even put your Culling Strike. Oh wait, no, that's attack skill, so you can't put on Orb of Storms. Either way, you are using Orb of Storms and infused weapon very, very poorly, and it's completely destroying your build. Now, Barrage, unfortunately, doesn't work the best with Lightning Spear, Stormlance, but it's also not hurting you when you use it that way. But you got it, so you might as well use it. You got it with Ingenuity. Put that on your cast on critical, so it works better with Sniper's Mark, for one. That's way better than having it on Barrage. Perpetual Charge is actually pretty decent. I wonder if Perpetual Charge... No, it doesn't work on Infused Weapon. But anyways, you don't really need Perpetual Charge on Barrage. Premeditation is good. Twofold is good. Like, really good. That's great. I've never actually used Volatile Power, but... gain 5 volatility on using support skills while they are empowered. So this is actually doing nothing on Barrage, because you'd have to put this on like Lightning Spear, and then when it's empowered by Barrage, then it would work. So this here is also doing absolutely nothing for you. And then what's Quill Burst? I've never actually seen this one. Supports melee attack skills. Trigger Quill Burst, which deals your thorns damage in area around the target when struck. Can only be triggered on hit after retaliated with thorns damage. Does it have... Come on. Alright, well, screw that. The website is not letting me click on it. The explosion thing is just straight up deals thorns. There's no base damage on it, and your build does not actually have any thorns damage in it. So this here, Quill Burst is actually not doing anything for you. This is entirely for a thorn setup. You can drop that. Untouchable is also not doing anything because there's no attack time on Wind Dancer, unfortunately. The only good skill you have on here is Maim, unfortunately. You can really replace with anything. The first one I'd say is put on Energy Barrier for sure. The rest is just whatever you have, like increase AoE, but you're using both Reach, I think it's called, and Magnified Effect, so not on Wind Dancer. Just find literally anything else other than these two and put on Energy Barrier. So that's your gear, that's your skills. Let's go to your tree again. I don't really want to make a comment on the tree because I'm having a really hard time following this. Another thing is you have so much accuracy rating, but you're not using Falcon Dive. That is just, you need to put Falcon Dive on with what you have. You're nerfing yourself not having it. It would give you the more crit chance. And I know you don't care about the accuracy rating because you're using Storm Lance and Lightning Spear. That's the issue. You're going to need to put something else on. Probably, let's see, you'd probably be best off literally just dropping Barrage and putting on Primal Strikes and using that for your melee skill. I'm not a big fan of using lightning or of using primal strikes because it drops the shock. So you need to do the 3 hits or Stormlance 3 hits, Stormlance 3 hits, and it's a little bit obnoxious, but it works a lot better with twisters. And if you were to do twisters, you need to change less. Just literally change Lightning Spear and Stormlance for twisters, and you'd use all the same things and make better use of Barrage. With that said, though, Barrage works even best on a Deadeye because you get to multiply the frenzy charges, but your build here with all this accuracy rating 100% works best on an Amazon, so don't change. Just keep on this class. I don't even know how to make heads or tails with all the weapon swap stuff on here when you only have one set of weapons. So with that said, though, I think this will help you out greatly. Another thing, you're coming in here for all this penetrate, but it'd be nice if you could take advantage of these extra penetrates. You could save a lot of pathing here if you took a controlled metamorphosis and put it in this slot. That way you'd be able to come and grab Surging Currents, and, well, actually you'd still path for Surging Currents, but you could just grab Primal Sundering and a couple of nearby nodes. I'm pretty sure it also hits Catalysis, if I remember right. It's been a while since I've looked at the proper size controlled metamorphosis. I don't actually have one in here, but yeah, check out on your path of building. I will show you how to look it up right now. You just come in here with items. You go in here, you type in controlled metamorphosis in the uniques bit here. And when it asks you what size, you can just choose what ring it is here. I really don't remember what ring, so like just showing you how it works. I selected a massive ring, and then when I switch this with a massive ring here, yeah, this is the area that a massive would have, so it'd probably be like a large that would hit Primal Sundering and potentially some other stuff. But as it stands, though, I don't mind this setup at all. It's just, I feel like you're using the wrong skills with how you've built. That's definitely what it is. You have a conflict of identity, that's for sure. But yeah, I hope this helps you out. Thank you again, McRib, for submitting your build, and see you later, my dudes.